It is the start of Black History Month, and tonight we take a look at a new docuseries on Amazon Prime Video called Fat Tuesdays, the era of hip-hop comedy. It celebrates Fat Tuesdays at LA's famed Comedy Store, the wildly popular all-black comedy night that helped launch the careers of comedians and personalities like Anthony Anderson, Nick Cannon, Dave Chappelle, Snoop Dogg, Tiffany Haddish, Steve Harvey, JB Smoove, and so many more. The series explains that this night and this space were created when black comedians were shut out of other comedy clubs. Here's a sneak peek.
This is how we do it. It's 1995. Comics back then were predominantly white, and I said, man, there's so many funny people doing comedy in the hood, but there was no one there to see them. And I was like, okay.
Guy was like, Hollywood don't want to come to the hood, so let's take the hood to Hollywood.
And our Lindsay Davis had a chance to speak to Guy Torry, the executive producer and creator of Fat Tuesdays, and actor and comedian JB Smoove. Take a look.
Guy Torry, JB Smoove. Thank you guys so much for talking with me today. So, Guy, let's talk with you. Where did you come up with the idea for creating Fat Tuesday? Why did you feel like it was necessary?
You know what? A comedian by the name of Michael Blackston, we were on a flight one day, and it was after I had done Fat Tuesdays. I was done with it, and he was telling me how he missed it and how the younger comedians need to know about comedy night, and that's where the seed was really planted. Then I started talking to comedians, and they were telling me how important it was to them, which I didn't know it was that important to them, but they start telling their stories, but not even just comedians, though, but there were actors and writers and directors and producers who would come to Fat Tuesdays and scout talent there as well. And I was like, wow, it's actually bigger than what I ever thought it could be.
So, JB, tell me about the vibe when you were performing on Fat Tuesday, what it was like.
Oh man, it was must-see TV before anybody used the word must-see TV. This was the hottest comedy night in LA. Everybody was there. You would hate it if you had to do a gig out of town and you missed what happened that Tuesday. You were upset. This was the place you wanted to be at. This is the place where this is like what comedians thrive on, is captive audience, an amazing host, all the ingredients you need to go up there and do what you love to do and be seen by the right people. We started meeting comedians from all over the country that we didn't even know existed. This was like, wow. It's guys from Cleveland and Cincinnati and Dallas and Austin, Texas, and, people from everywhere, and when they came to LA, they wanted to perform at the best spot they could. They wanted to be seen by their peers. They wanted to be seen and network with each other.
Talk to me about the opportunities that you had as a result of performing on Fat Tuesdays.
That particular night I was performing, I remember it was Arsenio, it was Eddie Murphy, Eddie Griffith, I think. They were all sitting in the same booth. I remember right before I went on stage, someone said, Eddie Murphy's out there and so-and-so's out there. I said, what? I said, oh man. So when I went on stage, I went out there to do my best. I had already done a few sketches on the Chris Rock show, but Chris hadn't seen my stand-up. And lo and behold, he saw my set. And I ended up a week later going back to New York to do the Chris Rock show. That is a moment I can think about that was a great stepping stone for me to perform and do what I do. And on any given night, someone amazing is in that audience.
It feels like comedians often feed off of what's happening in the news, and that was so much a time, especially in LA, of unrest. Talk to me about how that was such a significant moment for Fat Tuesday.
Well, I mean, comedians, especially black comedians, always talk about the times that's going on. It's funny because when I was putting this together years ago, I said, man, if it wasn't for Rodney King, it probably wouldn't have been a Guy Torry or Nick Cannon or a Cat Williams or a Kevin Hart, because it was because of the Rodney King riots that industry quit going south of Wilshire to the hood to see black comedians because they were scared of what they saw in the news. Even black celebrities wasn't going south. The Comedy Act Theater, which was in the South Central, was the spot to come see black talent. And, when that happened, everybody scattered. And so it was important for the Comedy Store to have this night where people can come and feel safe and hear a brand of comedy that they weren't seeing anywhere, or just continue what the Comedy Act Theater has started just in Hollywood.
Do you feel there's a part in the documentary talking about how tough the crowd was? how, you know, did you feel, your face says it all, right? So you feel like it was a tough room to play to.
It was a tough room if you weren't funny. I mean, comedians who like people like JB was fearless. I mean, and he would leave it on the stage. I mean, literally, JB Smoove was one of those comedians where when he was on stage, if comedians were in the hallway or in the bathroom or in the back, they would stop and rush out and come see JB perform. It was that type of energy. And some comics with big names were scared to go up at Fat Tuesdays. We had from ex-cons to icons, you know, from stars to starlets.
JB, I'm curious as a comedian, when you look at all the platforms and opportunities now with social media, really that anybody can imagine themselves a comic and tell some jokes. But is it really irreplaceable when you're thinking about, you know, the likes of a Fat Tuesday, when you're in front of those kinds of crowds and getting that kind of exposure and opportunity?
It definitely is. I mean, here's one thing I will say. You know, with social media, with recording yourself, you get multiple takes. When you walk on that stage and opportunity is right there knocking, you want to get one chance. You can't say, I'll be right back, everybody. I'm gonna come back on stage and start again. No, you get one chance. You're walking on a tightrope with no net. You are performing for a captive audience that's there to enjoy you, you know, and everyone else who's still in that green room waiting to go on stage. That is a comedian's dream, to walk on stage to a captive audience, you know. And I will say this, it's not that the room was hard. The room expected something amazing every Tuesday. So I don't consider it hard. I consider it setting you up perfectly.
What do you want people to take away, viewers to take away from the documentary? And what's your next idea?
I would love for people to take away this amazing story and the resiliency of these comedians who came that Tuesday, their origin stories. People think we just get on stage and tell jokes and we're punchlines and we're, you know, buffoons and we're clowns. We're historians, we're doctors, we're healers, we're storytellers. I want them to see that when the dust settled and the smoke cleared in Los Angeles, South Central Los Angeles, after the Rodney King verdict, what came out of it was these hungry comedians who was going to be heard by any means necessary. And we were going to tell our story, and we were going to get seen, and we were going to do it to the best of our ability and leave no stones unturned. And that we all have a gift, and you take that gift and you use it to help others, and not for selfish reasons.
A gift indeed. Our thanks to Lindsay Davis and, of course, to Guy Torry and JB Smoove. The new docuseries Fat Tuesdays, The Era of Hip-Hop Comedy, premieres this Friday, February 4th on Amazon Prime Video.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.